to news that hasn't got that much publicity, although I do think Joe Aston wrote an excellent column about this this week. Last year, billionaire Andrew Forrest, the global warming crusader, huge investor, said it signed a deal with Apple, which would buy most of the electricity from a $1 billion wind farm that Forrest is creating in this bushland in North Queensland. But now Apple has pulled out because the planned wind farm apparently looks like an animal killer. For one, it's going to destroy koala habitat. Matt, what does this episode tell you?
Well, it reveals the myth that is at the heart of the so-called energy transition, Andrew, and that is that green energy is not green. Green energy is the most environmentally destructive form of energy production because it requires the use of so much of the environment. The reason the world moved to fuels like coal and then oil, gas, and ultimately nuclear was because they all had a lower footprint on the world's planet, and while they weren't necessarily raving greenies back in the 19th century, they needed to use that land for other purposes like growing food or building towns, and so they moved naturally to resources that did have a lower impact on the environment. But because we remain naively and ignorantly obsessed with one environmental issue, that is carbon dioxide emissions, we are at the moment completely ignoring all the other environmental issues like koalas need a place to live, like migratory bird species don't particularly like getting hit by large steel turning blades. These are massive environmental issues, and I was just talking to a local community yesterday here in Rockhampton, and they were telling me how these mountain ranges just west of Rockhampton are being totally levelled. They've got to have a pad of 200 metres by 200 metres to put the wind turbines on, which go up another 275 metres. And that means, of course, they've got to take off the whole tops of these mountainscapes that are completely pristine, haven't been touched at all. This is an environmental outrage that is building across Australia, and I just hope people in the cities do get out and speak about what is actually happening in the bush, because you might feel warm and fuzzy getting your power from wind and solar, but you should actually look at where it's actually coming from and how it's built.